Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's gonna try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
I will twerk on her on the bed. I ain't gonna do it in the middle of the dance floor.
That's what I'm... Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
Why? My brain didn't need that. I'd already seen too many pictures of Shooty Gatwa today.
What?
Well, there's an image in my mind. But I also hate you a little because you go and make it your business to try to make fun or try to get in. If yes, exactly, half-breed putting her crotch in my face.
Ooh, so exciting.
There is nobody of merit there. It's for their new fan base. That's who D23 is for. Everybody who went there knowing they sniff crotch and suck shit.
Right.
People are not going to enjoy that. They recast him. He's like 16 now, and he's got painted fingernails. And he's like, oh my God, let's cast a spell.
Who writes someone that's a genius and that everybody is over there sucking her toes, and then you got to come over here and then say something ridiculous like, hey, victimize me, daddy.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
Impressive. Most impressive.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. I said it. All right. Yeah, see, now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
Well, you can still have it, but still identify as a woman.
Who is that? I don't know that person anymore. I don't have to deal with them at all anymore. They're I don't even think about
That's your best friend, your future boyfriend.
Oh, God, why would you do that to me?
Ah.
God, I'd rather have Dermy as my boyfriend than that.
Oh, God.
He's a she. He's a she.
I'm colored. Shut up.
Yeah, you know what? This freaking existed. It exists. That exists.
You just imagined it.
I guess. Kind of hurts. I think it's physical.
I'm gonna tell you if I'm gonna tell you a story and the end result is gonna be me taking a dump on somebody's forehead, do you care about how we got there?
But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because you know what, Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh, God.
There's no doll left.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores. Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
My name is a pimp named Dries, and I believe I've misplaced some merchandise at this residence. Lord Jesus and the shepherds, where is Daddy's money? I will not hesitate for one solitary second to put hands on somebody if I don't have my monies.
Down from the bar, there's a platform stage.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to the round table where we give you our unique perspective on the week's events. We got a show for you today where you might have heard these conversations throughout the week. There's no avoiding some of them. You might have even heard my thoughts on them here and there, but we're going to give you our takes nonetheless. Anyway, Dre looks like Dre's running a little late, so we'll get to the introductions. And I do have a warm-up, so we got a warm-up before we get to the big stuff. Jed, how you feeling after our quick romp through Mordor country last night?
Well, after a good night's sleep, I've forgotten everything about that episode. Even during the show, I forgot stuff that we just talked about. I really did.
It's like, wait, who died? And he just made a whole reference about how the guy died.
So yeah, after a good night's sleep, it's all gone now. I was already losing it during the show, so it all just slipped away like the sand of Aragion.
Sands of Aragion. These are the sands of Aragion, and these are the days of our lives. Whatever. I made soap opera jokes. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked it out, you go check out This Is Mordor Country on both our channels. We had a fun time last night. The full panel was there, and we got 3 more weeks of that garbage to go. And wow, the cope I'm seeing, and we'll get into it when we talk about it, when we talk about the Rings of Power stuff. The cope I'm seeing with people trying to fit pieces together, make it work, is truly amazing. And also the gay queerness that they're all throwing on it. It's unbelievable. I mean, Dragon Lady, you don't give a shit, do you?
No, I'd rather be watching the animated version of Lord of the Rings from the 70s over this, whatever this is supposed to be.
It is not Lord of the Rings. It is not remotely Tolkien. It is a bastardization. That makes no sense. And rumors are today that it's already been, season 3 was greenlit internally. Of course it was. They signed a contract for 5 seasons. And the way, however we can predict it's going to end, they're not going to end it on 2, but they'll end it likely with 3 with a rush job to get it done. At least that's my theory going forward.
They can pretend they did it on their own terms with 3. With 2, there's not an argument for that. So yeah, getting greenlit for a 3rd season is not the win the stands are acting like it is. Yeah, there's $40 million in 2 weeks. It's not the win they think it is either.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit last night. They want to pretend that we, the chuds, the toxic nerds, we get all angry when they get their wins. Do they not realize that as much as we hate it, we like it being around because it burns all this down faster? And also, we don't create the news. The shows create the news. The interviews create the news. We simply comment and break it down and give you logical takes and almost usually passionate fan takes. So it's not a loss for us when they get it. There he is. Hello, Dre.
What's going on, fellas?
Hi.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, you're fine. We're still talking about what we're doing and slight comments leading into what we're going to talk about there. But anyway, so Rings of Power is going to fail, and they think it's a win. But we're going to get back to that. How are you, Dre? How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I've had a very, very, very busy week and weekend. It's still ongoing, but I'm alive.
That's good. That's good. I mean, Jed's memory isn't alive, and I'm barely all right. Dre, I'm going to ask you this, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you're black.
Oh boy!
Do you have StreamYard's dark mode?
I'm sorry.
Has StreamYard's upgraded your package to dark mode yet?
No, I can't say it has.
It's a new feature, and he's just being made fun of on Ballbusters for not having it yet.
I'm the only one who doesn't have it, and everybody's like, "Oh, Adam, you have dark mode."
To check, Ray, you just have to go to the StreamYard's main homepage, and there'll be a pop-up if you have it.
Yeah, but I've reloaded the main homepage like a dozen times and they won't give it to me yet. I haven't gotten the email. I got nothing. I live in a dark mode free world when it comes to StreamYards. Everything else I have is dark mode. Drake can appreciate that. I'm friends with every other dark mode on the internet except StreamYards. StreamYards wants me to be racist.
It's the new I have a black friend. I use dark mode, man.
I gotcha. So is dark mode StreamYards like I'm looking at it and it's white and stuff right
you
now?
would if you had it, you wouldn't be able to use it because you're sharing my link. But if you started your own stream, you would be able to bask in the dark mode, like you do every day when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, I wake up in dark mode and then go to sleep in dark mode. So yeah, I guess it will fit.
So they finally have a meme besides me being Jewish to burn me on Ballbusters. The fact that I don't have dark mode, and until I get it, it's gonna. And they'll probably keep going after that, which is fine. I've leaned into it. What the problem is on Ballbusters, I raged out on Friday. I was so pissed off because everybody kept coming in. Yeah, I have it, and they're all trying to tell me, "Oh, what did you do this? Oh, what did you do that?" I'm just like, "Shut up! Oh, you fuck up! Shut up!" I raged out. I was a sullen, angry, salty bastard. More so than usual, all night. So
Old Man Curmudgeon came out.
This was me for the start of the show on Ballbusters, just sitting here like this, looking pissed off, and it was listen, it was great YouTube. Everybody enjoyed it. I really was that angry, but I also did lean into it a little bit so that they could push the meme farther. But I want my dark mode StreamYard. Anyway, hail and howdy to the chat. We are glad you're joining us on this Sunday afternoon where we have so much to give you, and we only need you. Although, super chats are nice too. Hail to good Sir Algrim the Strong and Legatus, my mods, here to keep the peace and troll me because, Algrim is nice to me. Legatus is mean. Legatus is mean to me all the time. Hail to, going down the list here, Ruben X, hail to you, Ruben X, welcome. Hail Jay Frazier. Listen. If a weird thing happens, it's documented. I get a chance to update it for this weekend. I got a couple more things in there. If something weird and stupid happens, it's going in. And it's right now, it's the best thing I can do since we start on time around here. It's the best thing I can do to give you guys time to roll in. It's the best thing I can do. So you can see the best of our retardation. Mostly me being retarded. Dre just being funny. So it's going to get longer. It just is until maybe somebody makes something cool. I don't know. But we're not that level yet. So either way. So thank you. It's going to get longer. Howdy, Kale. How are you? And Hale, that's only people chatting. So everybody else, if you're not chatting, you're just hanging out. We're happy to have you here. Hit that like button. Links are in the description below. And let's get going. Okay, so today, and I know we all have this. We all have opinions on this. We've all shared our opinions in some ways before. We're going to talk about the PS5 Pro and the backlash and the discussion surrounding it. I have my thoughts. If you were on Ballbusters this Friday, you heard a lot of them. I'm going to reiterate a few. It's not. I don't think it'll be as testy and heated as the Ballbusters one was because it's a larger panel and definitely a lot of different perspectives and points of views. But I think we're still going to get to all the points we want to about the PS5 Pro and what it means to gamers and what it means as something the industry and also predictions on maybe where they're going. Talk about that. Then we are going to talk a little bit Rings of Power, not the show, as we say every week right now. If you want to see us dig into the episode, go watch Mortal Country, go watch my review. But we're going to talk about how it's failing. It's already at Acolyte levels of fail on the ratings. They're showing us. It's there. It's beautiful. It is only going to get worse. And then we have to keep coming back to it because it continues to be a story. Every time I think we're done with it, Ubisoft does something else to remind us they don't care about being an independent company anymore. They want to lose all their money and be swallowed by a larger corporation. It's that simple. They must. Because guess what? It's more DEI time, despite the fact that DEI is making them die. Very simple. Anyway, but we got a couple of warm-ups just to get the blood pumping. I didn't get a chance to make a video on this week because it's not large news, but we're going to be talking about it's a lead into our gaming discussion to show us that these companies who make these games and are connected with the companies that make the consoles or even I would just say distribute stuff. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't even understand the IPs they're working with. What am I talking about right now? I'm talking about this. Did you guys see this? Indiana Jones and the Great Circle creative director, that means the person in charge of the story, says game makes sure to not encourage gunplay because it wouldn't be true to the character. Raise your hand if you've seen the Indiana Jones trilogy. Because there are only 3 Indiana Jones movies. Great. Congratulations.
Never seen them.
Okay, you get to
parts
leave.
of them. But
No. I actually have a question
all
for
of
her.
them.
Okay.
I actually have a question for her because she's never seen it. All right. When you think of Indiana Jones, Dragon Lady, you've probably seen clips before or heard people talk about it.
I've seen clips because my dad likes them. So
perfect. What is the most iconic shot from Indiana Jones? If you think Indiana Jones, what is the clip that you've seen that you think of?
Him running away from a big ass boulder.
All right. Let's
fair.
go for number 2. That's a good one. It's always in the top 3.
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
The whip.
Well, that's non-specific.
Keep going. I need to upload something real quick.
I can't think of anything else.
All right, I'll just go with it. One of the most iconic shots in the entire trilogy is when he shoots the guy in the first movie. He does the big sword flourish, and he's just so done with it that he guns him down and keep running.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the most iconic parts of Indiana Jones lore. And it's even funnier when you find out the behind-the-scenes story because he had dysentery and didn't want to go through the huge choreographed fight they had planned for him while filming in Egypt. That is so iconic, and this guy doesn't even seem to be aware of that.
And also, here, this is a clip I keep around for clips from Last Crusade.
And who's gonna come to save you, Junior? I told you! Don't call me Junior.
It's another great one.
Kind of mowed those dudes down, didn't he?
Adam, those were not guns. That was
What were they?
anime edited finger points.
Lollipops?
That's what that was.
And they were evil German people, so they don't get, life.
Okay.
I think that might be the director's logic here.
These guys made an Indiana Jones game, which frankly is a retarded game in the first place because it's a first-person game. It's first-person POV. All you see are his hands.
Yeah, when you have an iconic character, you don't do first person.
Yeah, it's just absurd. But to actually say, and let's read the full quote here. Let's see where it is. Okay. We do not encourage gunplay, explained the game's creative director. It's not being pushed as the primary way forward. The primary way forward is always using your wits and your whip. As to why they did not wish to portray the titular archaeologist as a full-blown gunslinger, Tor Venus argued that his team's decision was based on the fact that, you simply put, Indy doesn't have superpowers. Very often, you can tell that it's not easy for him to be in a fight. At the end of the day, he's a teacher and somewhat clumsy archaeologist. He just happens to have his passion that puts him in these weird situations constantly with enemies and traps.
You can't be clumsy and use a whip like that. I just got to put that out there. Oh, and reading that quote or hearing that quote, I can almost predict that there's going to be some kinky whip jokes, if not a kinky whip scene.
This game's going to be a disaster. I think it's going to fail miserably, personally, because as you said a second ago, nobody wants to play Indiana Jones from a first-person point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him whip the whip and go like this, and no gunplay. No gunplay. He uses guns in all 3 movies. Yeah, the opening of during the opening of Temple of Doom, when they're
when he's
going
full
through
James Bond outfit.
Yeah, when they escape the club and he's after he gets the antidote to the poison, he's shooting at the other car that's chasing them. And part of the gag then is that Willie loses his gun during that situation. So later on in the movie, when they try, even though it comes before Raiders, when they try to redo the moment where all the dudes are coming out with swords and he tilts his head and goes for his gun, it's not there because Willie dropped it out the window back in Hong Kong. So it's ridiculous to say Indiana Jones doesn't use a gun. He uses them constantly. He will, of course, frankly, he rarely fights with the whip.
Yeah, it's more traversal.
The only time he fights with the whip is in the bar fight in Raiders. He uses it for a second.
Disarming.
Yeah, he disarms it, and then it's back on his belt. The whip is not a weapon he uses against dudes with guns or anything else.
I mean, we saw how that worked in Dial of Destiny, using the whip on 20 dudes with guns, and they just laughed at him.
Yeah. Or I mean, I guess during the end of the third act, the climax of Temple of Doom, he's got the sword in one hand and the whip in the other, and he is using it there. But at that point, he's at his wit's end. He's been through torture. He's been fighting dudes, and he's
I call that
on
Feral Jones.
Yeah, he's just in the end, he cuts a rope bridge and they fall and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, of course, great movie. The trilogy is great, and Indy uses guns, and these people have no idea what they're talking about with these franchises they've been handed to make games on. And this is why the gaming industry is in trouble in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
In the current mode at the current state at the moment, with this endless deluge of crap coming out, there we go. They are they've lost their way because they bent the knee to the DEI a long time ago.
I think Star Wars Outlaws is going to be a huge harbinger for the success of, or lack thereof, for this Indiana Jones game, because if a Star Wars, Lucasfilm property can fail that abysmally, then Indiana Jones has no chance in the current landscape if they're not respecting the source material. So yeah, I feel like Star Wars Outlaws is going to be exactly the same thing we see with Indiana Jones. Of course, on a smaller scale, like I think it's going to get less players than even Outlaws, because Indiana Jones is at least currently a smaller franchise than Star Wars. I don't think it's ever been quite as popular as Star Wars, but it's still, I think, a great example of what's going to happen. Absolutely. It's still a massively influential franchise, but I would say Star Wars ekes it out a little bit.
Star Wars is a much bigger franchise for the simple fact that it has the merch, the games. There have been Indiana Jones games, and even the arcade game, the Temple of Doom arcade game. We were obsessed with that as a kid, even though it only had like 3 levels. But one, to Ruben X's point, yes, Indy fought in World War I. He was a soldier in World War I. He has trained. He's not a clumsy archaeologist. He has seen battle, arguably in the bloodiest war in the 20th century, which is why people freaked out and made the alliances that ended up creating World War II, because they thought the alliances would deter another bloody war. These people hate everything. They don't understand it. And at the same time, to Jed's point as well, if Dial-Up of Destiny bombed the way it did, there is no possible way an Indiana Jones game is going to even land at this point, because the brand is damaged. And also, simply, like, no shade thrown at Troy Baker. He's a great voice actor, but
he's a little cray-cray.
Yeah, a little cray-cray, but also he's not Harrison Ford. It's not his voice. It may be an approximation of Harrison Ford's face in that game, but it's not going to be his voice, and it's not going to be Harrison Ford. That is the problem. That is why most Indiana Jones, what's the word I want? And I'm saying too much. To do. Yeah, I'm doing that a lot lately. I'm trying to catch myself doing it. It's terrible. It's my new again. It's my new again. Most Indiana Jones vehicles without Harrison Ford have been unsuccessful. People may have a soft spot for young Indiana Jones, but it wasn't that great. It was not that great. I forgot there were 2 seasons. I ended season 1 and I didn't come back as a kid. I wasn't interested. The video games, there's one that people consider the true 4th movie. Fate of Atlantis, I think that's what it's called. People always like that, but it never really caught hold. And there were a line of books. I tried reading a few of the books when I was a kid. They didn't grab me. I returned them to the library almost immediately. They were not entertaining as Harrison Ford on the screen doing the beloved stuff that we remember and enjoy. But we know it. We understand it. These people do not. And to make a whole game, that's why this game's going to be a disaster. It's not going to feel like Indiana Jones. It's not going to sound like Indiana Jones. And it's going to fail. I doubt that thing moves even 2 or 3 million copies. I doubt it. And now we don't know what the budget is and that, but I don't know where it's set, Jay Frazier. I don't remember if we've covered that, but probably because it has to be because Temple of Doom is technically a prequel, even though it's the second movie, and Raiders. It all depends on the year. If they tell you the year, you'll know because Indiana Jones, all 3 movies are very clear, telling you what years they take place in. Very clear about that. So I just wanted to put that out there since we are now going to talk about gaming. And also, shut up, Static. Shut up. And it's Spurg. I just gruff and angry. All right. So here we go. PlayStation, beginning of the week, made an announcement. They said, hey, we're going to do what we did with the PS4. Here comes the PS5 Pro. I thought the PS4 Pro was a bad idea. I think this is a bad idea. And I'm saying that, as you can see, as someone who prefers PlayStation as primary console. But let's first give our thoughts on the idea of this. I said it. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. Price tag aside, specs aside, digital only aside, not even getting to that. I think it's dumb. I don't think they should do it. Jed, how do you feel about this on that? Just the idea of it before we get deeper into this.
Well, most of the discussion I've seen has been around the specs, so I'm not sure what you're referring to that isn't about the specs that's dumb.
All right. What to me is the specs are dumb. I mean, when I'm talking, the further conversation I want to have is why are you buying a console in the first place discussion. That's where I want to go because
why are they already making a pseudo upgraded version?
Yeah, or that is even closer to a computer, and then the argument, why don't you just buy a gaming PC? That's where after the conversation that everybody initially agrees on, that I don't think there's a dissenting remark from actual gamers and actual console / sometimes PC players, is that the specs are stupid. They're catering to the normies or the fake gamers who want to see pretty things and don't actually care about games and gameplay. So I know you're probably with me on the specs are stupid, right?
Yeah, especially the fact that you have there's no disk drive. That I think is the worst spec.
That is so dumb, and that is a line of discussion we're going to go down in terms of possible futures. Dre, you made a video on this.
I have not been a PlayStation owner in many years. When I saw the highway robbery that Sony is trying to attempt, I could not help myself. I could not believe what I was seeing. Back in the day, heck, let's go back one generation. Screw it. PS4 Pro. When you buy a Pro version of a console, you would expect for it to have all the bells and whistles that comes with the original version. Why would I pay $700 for what? An upgraded GPU?
Yeah.
No disk drive, no stand, and then have the audacity to then charge me another $80 if I want to have my disk drive back. What is going on? You can't be serious. In what universe does that make any sense? I'm going to give you $700 for less stuff than I have currently.
Yeah.
And for what? What? 10 more frames? Tops?
Oh, I hate the frames argument. Our eyes can only see roughly 24 to 30 frames per second. Anything more than that,
I'm with you.
Baiting to morons. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that. It's
I am Jed. I'm there with you. I hate the 60 FPS arguments.
It doesn't matter.
I am not an FPS whore. I am not. I don't care about frames per second.
More money for something you can't perceive.
Yeah. That's why we barely comprehend 4K. And honestly, to me, 4K looks fake. That's why I'm not into 4K.
Yeah, the uncanny valley starts to kick in there.
Yeah, I am fine. 1080p is where I draw the line. I'm happy with regular Blu-rays.
Very happy with that, yeah.
Very happy. My mom even hates 1080p. She's like, I don't want to see all the wrinkles. She hates it. I don't see the wrinkles and the pimples. That's every time I hear it when I give her a Blu-ray. Why? I can see the wrinkles and the pimples. I don't want to see this. I am happy with the nice, clean aspect of a 1080p. I'll handle a 720p sometimes if that's all I can get for something, but I'm happy with 1080p. I don't need 4K 2160, I believe is what it is, or even 1440p. I don't need that. Fine. 60 frames per second. People have made a religion about it.
It is a scam.
100% a scam. I could not agree more.
Yeah. So every time somebody says, and now we're going to delve into the deeper argument or deeper discussion of why people are fairly hammering it over everything Drake just said. Stupid GPUs, stupid extra ray tracing, stupid this, stupid that to make leaves and water shimmer more. We don't care about that. The one complaint I have about my PS5, the storage is shit. It's only 1 terabyte. Yeah. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Everything else about my PS5, it works great. I like my PS5. I enjoy my PS5. I use it for more than just gaming. It's a multimedia station for me. And having the disk drive, I bought the disk drive. It's right there. I think it's stupidly placed on the bottom here, but I bought it because it's my Blu-ray player. My entire life, since I was 23, my entire life, my DVD Blu-ray player has been a PlayStation. 2, 3, 4, now 5. I got a 2 in the closet. I got my 3 in the closet. The 4 is in the living room, and the 5 is right here. To remove the Pro, or to give out the Pro and remove the disk drive, somebody in Sony forgot what made the PlayStation 2 the all-time biggest seller.
Yep.
The cheapest DVD player.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things that put me off with the PS3 when they were saying it wasn't backwards compatible, and it's like, yeah, I'm sticking with my PS2, and then I got my PS4 a few years later.
And Frank brings it up right here. That's another avenue we're going to go into here, the games thing. There's a games argument people like to make about the PlayStation 5, which I think is unfair, personally. The chat. Okay, chat's reconnected. Chat disconnected there for a second. Very strange.
I do want to say, I think we all know why the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out right now, right?
No competition.
No. They got to make up for Concord somehow.
Oh,
they got to make that money back.
There's a definite part of the equation. You're not wrong.
They admitted that they raised the price of normal PS5s in Japan. So why not release a new console to do it?
Why they're raising the price of the controllers? I mean, I've got a protection plan on this one that I'm likely going to use, a 2-year protection plan where they'll send me another one. I bought this one on discount, so I got a protection plan this time, and this one's got drift on it. Another one has drift on. This is my third one. I had only drift once on my PS4 controllers. Well, maybe twice. No, twice. And I got scammed on one of them. No, yeah. So drift has been a thing. But point is, they're raising the prices because they lost money. And not making your like Dre said, your peak model, to not have it be the thing that a lot of people use it for, to not have a drive in there, that's retarded. It's stupid. But we'll come back to that because I have an end of the discussion argument I want to make about that, or point, more accurate. But here we are. So everybody is in agreement. It's stupid. You don't even get a second controller. You mentioned the stand, although I'm not a fan of stands because I learned a long time ago when you put these things vertical, it scratches discs. But then again, it's digital, so it doesn't matter. Somebody reminded me of that.
Well, I think it's just a notion that it should come included.
I mean, how much does a stand cost?
I don't know.
How much should it cost them to manufacture? It's a piece of plastic.
It should cost less than $5 to buy.
Yeah.
It should.
But it just bothers me. Like you raise the price exponentially, then you take away things. That's crazy.
For $700, you should be getting 2 controllers.
Hello.
If
Let's
it was
start
an
with that.
all-inclusive package like that, like bigger terabyte, like a second terabyte drive, maybe several controllers, the graphic update for the weirdos out there, and some more bells and whistles. I think that would be okay for $700. But this is some Apple stuff, charging you $700 and not giving you a charging cable type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and also I prefer Apple products, and I know that I am critical with everything that I support in terms of what I buy.
As you should be.
I'm critical of everything. I am not, as everybody says, a pony. I ain't a pony. I don't simply say, thank you, Sony, may I have some more? No, I am critical of everything that I'm critical. We've heard before. I'm critical of them charging us to play games online. I think PlayStation Plus should be a thing if you want to have it as your what do they call for Xbox? For
Game Pass.
Game Pass, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm fine if that's their version of Game Pass.
That's an additional subscription.
Yeah.
They have a version of it that's higher priced.
But that's my point. I'm fine with like that, but you shouldn't be charging us for online play. It's bullshit. So Sony makes all kinds of dumb decisions, and I've called them on every one. I'm calling them out on this. My problem with this discussion now, changing the level of this, is the surrounding commentary on it, and some of the tangential discussions happen. And I'll give an example of one that happened on Ballbusters in a moment. Sony fucked up, but now here comes the argument. And listen, I play as many games on PC as I do on console. Okay. Do I prefer to play games on console? Yes, because it's what I grew up on. It's what, in my little gamer nerd heart, is what I'm most comfortable with. And even though, yes, I know you can hold the controller for the PC now, for certain games, I prefer that. I prefer console. Also because this is the screen my console's hooked up to, the big one. I mean, my monitors are not small, but I like to play on the big screen. I like to play on this stuff, but certain games are for console, certain games are for PC. But I think it's disingenuous. And this is me. Hold me account, yell at me for this. You're going to get angry at me for this, get angry at me. I feel it's disingenuous when the PC people, I'm not going to be me. I'm not going to be sarcastic to the PC master race. I'm not going to do that right now. When the PC guys come in and say, man, you should just quit console gaming and do everything on a PC.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think that's a disingenuous argument.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Our friend Horny Alf, friend of the channel, he is a huge console guy. He collects old retro consoles. He likes to use them all, likes to keep them in very good working condition. He has made the argument over and over again, and I agree with his argument that consoles are supposed to be the cheaper version of PC gaming so that you don't have to spend minimum $2,000 on a PC rig to play the games that get more and more complicated. That every year or every 2 years, I don't know the cycle, forgive me, every 2 years, here's our next gigantic graphics card with 4 fans on it to keep the damn thing cool. That you have to now upgrade to in your PC if you want to keep playing these high-end games at the high-end specs. Whereas a console, yes, console prices have gone up. Originally, $200, $300, $400. PS5, I paid $500 for mine. I had to pay it off, had a payment plan, but I paid it off in due time, within the year. But now, with Sony putting a $700 price tag on it for nothing, all in an attempt to make it look like a mini PC, that's ridiculous. Which is why now it gives the door open for the PC guys to say, "Oh, just buy a PC." No. I can't afford that. Most people can't afford that, but Sony's forgotten that. So how do you guys feel about that aspect before I go deeper into my own ranting?
Well, for me, I am more a PC gamer, and that's mainly for one reason, modding. I love to mod, so I think it's always a matter of personal preference. There are going to be different reasons for different people to do different things. If you're primarily online, like I am, doing a lot of my work on the internet, it made sense for me to invest in a better PC and have that as my primary gaming, because it just made sense to combine those costs. But for other people, like you're saying, a cheaper alternative for a console that's able to run these higher end games without all the minutiae of building your own PC is completely fine. I definitely prefer PC gaming because of that control aspect, but that's a personal preference. And I think that's something that's wrong in a lot of these spheres that we talk about, is that there's no room for personal opinion or variation. And that's from all sides of the argument, even when we get into wokeism and rings of power and stuff like that, where people believe my opinion is the empirical fact and anyone who doesn't do it is wrong. And I just don't believe that. I have preferences in gaming as well. I like my first person story. Not my first, my single player story driven story games. That's what I love.
It's a happy life.
It is a happy life. I have zero interest in the next Call of Duty game, but that doesn't mean I have to go out there and say anyone who plays Call of Duty is an idiot. This game shouldn't exist. Oh, it doesn't matter that they sell well. They shouldn't exist because I don't play them. And I think it's the same argument. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. So it's honestly a bit of narcissism if you're saying you have to do it exactly like me or you're wrong and stupid.
Yeah, I agree completely, and that's exactly how I feel. And listen, I'm gonna have to get a gaming rig in the next couple of years because, as we said, I'm an Apple guy. The new Apple computers with their new microchip processors that do everything, including compensate for gaming, for video cards, because of that, they removed Boot Camp. There is no Boot Camp anymore, which allows me to partition my hard drive and create a Windows partition where I can do PC games that don't have Apple versions. I'm going to have to get a gaming rig if I'm going to keep gaming on games that are only PC. I'm okay with that. But I don't want to hear people telling me that I should get rid of all my options and feel bad about liking my console, because I do. And Kale brings it up here. I remember when she bought it, she was happy to get it. Now she says it's just her Switch, her Steam Deck, and PS5. That's fine. You bought it. You found out it really wasn't for you. Very simple. And I'm okay with that.
It doesn't matter. And some people are handheld. There's a big push to hate handheld too that I think is ridiculous.
I personally don't like handheld. I mean, I have a Switch, but I play it on my big screen.
Yeah. But you don't think it shouldn't exist just because it's not your preference?
No, I just don't like it. And but that's just it. But I don't say it shouldn't be around. But you know why it should exist? Because it makes a lot of money. Handheld makes a lot of money. So I am not going, like I said, I'm not going to say don't play your handheld. I just personally, with the idea of the Steam Deck, I don't like the idea of having to play all those PC games, a lot of which for me require keyboard and mouse to play effectively. With a small, and I don't know, is Steam like this big? Is that how big a Steam Deck is?
Steam Deck's bigger than the Switch.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah.
I just got one and I love it, and I'm able to mod on it too.
But the thing is, it's still a small screen though, right? It's like what?
It's
like,
smaller than your monitor.
Yeah, I still don't like that. And people might say, "Well, Adam, why don't you like it?" Listen, dude, I had an original Game Boy when the screen was this big, and it was green and gray, and you had to have the light just right to see what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
I was there. All right, I enjoyed my Game Boy for what it was, and then the consoles got bigger and better, and I wanted to keep playing on big screens. So don't tell me, oh, you just don't like handheld gaming. No, I've had every handheld. I have had a Game Boy. I had what was the Genesis one? What was that called?
Game Gear.
Had the Game Gear.
Oh yeah.
Don't took 8 batteries, bro. 8 batteries.
I had the Game Gear because I thought if you, they tricked me on something that you could get an adapter to play your Genesis games in, but no, it was for the old previous shit. It wasn't for current day Genesis games. It was for the Master System, which came before. I was like, wait, what? No,
I loved my Game Gear, yo.
I played the hell out of it.
Loved that thing, and it was backlit.
It was color. So games were great. I had that. I had multiple Nintendo DSs. I had a couple different versions of that.
Yeah,
and I had
my first handheld was the Wii U, so I had no idea what
I had a PSP. I had a disc PSP, not your PSP Vita. I had your disc PSP.
Yeah. No one had the PSP Vita. That's why the joint died.
Yeah.
OG PSP was top tier.
So
That's just great.
I lived the old school life of handheld.
Yeah.
And Jed said the Steam Deck is great. I don't want to play on tiny screens. I agree. And if I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna get use out of this as a portable thing eventually when I go places. I'll get use out of it, and that's eventually what I'll save it for stuff like that. But I don't want to be lectured to because I like a console, and that's what I feel like this is devolving into. Give up your console. I mean, Dre. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I believe that's where the sentiment is coming from, and I don't think that's appropriate. Let people like whatever they like. The idea that because of PlayStation's behavior, which I will not condone on any level, based on what they're doing with the PS5 and stuff, but it gives the PC bros the opportunity to say this is why you shouldn't have been with consoles in the first place.
Yeah.
That argument's going to go on until the end of time.
Yeah,
but I don't think it should deter anyone from enjoying anything. Like Adam, I like having a screen. Nobody plays more Pokemon than I do. All right.
Okay. Well, maybe Cloud does.
But Cloud trying to rival my numbers, but he ain't catching up. He ain't ready for this heat. But once again, I play it on my computer with the deck, and it can connects to my game capture and goes to my computer. Because I don't want to sit there like this, because I'm not doing that to myself. But I like doing that. Period. But I love old school mobile gaming. I love my Game Gear. I had a bunch of Game Boys and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Advance SPs and all the joints. And I've had them all. And because console gaming is fun. Period.
Yeah.
And PC gaming, even in its original iteration, was way too expensive, and to this day, it's even more so.
It's getting worse.
It is literally my tank. I've had this tank for many years. This was an HP Z800. I repurposed an old building server and had more power than Jesus in this thing. Now this joint is completely obsolete in every way, shape, and form. I've upgraded this joint at least 8 times since for its lifespan. Granted, this is way beyond its lifespan. This junk should be in a dump somewhere, because this junk weighs. I'm trying to tell you, this junk weighs about 90 pounds. It's like made out of cast iron. It's a cast iron freaking server.
That's why it's on the floor, man, huh?
Yeah, it's on the floor.
Put that shit on the desk.
Put that on the desk. Your junk will fold.
I got glass. My desktops are glass here.
If I just put the junk on there, you'll just hear the go.
Yeah.
And I love this thing, but at the same time, I've cut off because I cannot continue to invest, and because like at this point, the process, even the quad processor that I put in here, is not enough because of the circuit board that's there. It's already at as far as it's ever going to be. So I'm done with it. I'm done with PC gaming as far as taking it forward. So if somebody that loves PC gaming like myself, that cannot just continue to afford to just buy new computers, console gaming is the option.
Yeah,
console gaming is the way out.
And just real quick,
go for it.
Knights, if you read the title, The Folly of the PS5 Pro, the title of the stream shows you we are not fully supportive of what Sony's doing. We're not buying into a $700 price tag. We're not willing to shell it out. I like Sony products, but I am highly critical. So, before you come in here throwing the terms around, read the title. Thank you. Anyway, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now, I will keep PC gaming because there are a lot of things. I am an MMO player. I bought a tiny new computer just so I could keep playing Final Fantasy 14 because it wouldn't run on the old one. Yeah. And I'll be paying it off for another 7 months. But I have to. It's the only way. But I could, and I can afford it. Thanks to you, kind people. All I need is $50 a month to get it paid off. So I thank you, everybody, for helping me pay off the computer. But I will have to get a rig because I don't just play by myself. I play with other guys in our network. We do stuff. And the games are getting more and more high end. So I'm going to have to get it if I want to keep up because I love gaming. I love playing everything. I love. No apologies. Apology accepted, Knight. Apology accepted. It's a free speech channel. You can say what you want. Just make sure you understand the topics and the arguments that are going on. I want to keep playing games. Perfect example. Here's the example I used last night in terms of why a console in some cases is going to be better than the PC. For the past month, I've been replaying Dragon Age from Origins to 2, and now we're on Inquisition. I was going to play my Dragon Age streams on my PS3. because I have it. Why am I going to rebuy the games? I already have them. I've already played them to hell. I already have all my bonuses built in. Problem was, as you guys have heard me say, because of the way they made the version of the PS3 I got, they encrypted it, highly encrypted. It cannot communicate with my Elgato capture card. It can't communicate. You have to get extra wires, extra things to make it work. I didn't have time. I didn't have the money. Yeah, it was retarded. Stupid. I didn't have the time, didn't have the money. So what did I do? We just happened to be in the week that they announced the release date for Veilguard at the end of October. And Steam and EA Store were selling both Ultimate Editions of Origins and 2 at $3 a piece.
Ooh.
All right. I can stomach rebuying them for $6. I can handle that.
It's cheaper than the cables and the re-rigging you would have had to do.
And the gas I have to spend to get there, or the shipping if I have to order it. I can handle that. But here's the problem. EA, being the shit company that they are, turning BioWare into the shit developer that they are, have not done performance upgrades on either game in a decade. So everybody that is buying these games cheap or have bought them in the past couple of years for reasons, when they go, because these games always go on sale every like 5 or 6 months, they don't freaking work. Now, my computer, the old girl, she's old. She's 2019 old. But 2019, that comes after 2008, 2009, 2011. That's a newer computer compared to the games. They don't freaking run right on anybody's computers.
Jeez.
Performance problems, frame rate problems. Everything's wrong with it. The modders have to fix it. Or when I was playing Origins, I had to trick the computer, or I tricked the game to think I was running on Windows 8 through troubleshooting. I had to trick it, which is how I did it, to play Origins without a problem. Now, don't get me wrong. Modding the games was fun. I got a lot of new mods. It allowed me to have both Bethany and Carver for Dragon Age 2, which was great because Bethany's great and Carver's a piece of shit. So I didn't have to be stuck with him because Mage is canon. I like to play Mage canon. But there were a host of problems with the PC version. Whereas, yes, do I have a couple bugs on my broken version of Dragon Age 2, which will never let me save when I do Nightmare mode, so therefore I never get the trophy? Yeah, but 95% of the gameplay on both Origins and Dragon Age 2 for my console, my PS3, no problems. But everybody is riddled with problems when they play these on PC. Now, I'm not saying that's bad about PC, but with the console version, once it's kind of locked in, it's locked in, it's fixed, especially when they patched it and fixed it like they had to with Dragon Age 2 when it first launched. They did patch and fix the slow motion bug. There were bugs. I'm not saying it's perfect, but the games work fine. They continue to work fine a decade later, but here we are a decade later, they don't work well on PC. I had to do all kinds of crazy things to get Dragon Age 2 to run without scene skipping and FPS drop, and it still dropped, even with my fix. It was annoying as hell. Console gaming is, in a sense, it is a little more reliable because they're going to make the games to work on the consoles. So I don't have to worry that I'm going to buy a game and it's going to be shit or it's going to run like crap. It's going to run to the specs of the console. I don't have to worry about upgrading my console to run the game. I mean, as much as I am dreading Veilguard the end of next month, I know when I get it, it's going to run fine on the PS5. And I don't need a PS5 Pro to make it better. But I do not appreciate, and I'm going to say this is a hot take. You can agree with me or not. You can yell at me all you want. I'm fine with that. I do not like being told, why do you have a P? Now, this is why it's devolved further in this debate and conversation that I don't like it. I'm okay with us beating on Sony for being stupid. I'm okay for us saying, get a good PC, but also understand that some of us like our consoles. We just do. It's part of my DNA. What I don't like is this continued argument, and I'd love both of you to weigh in on this, of why do you have a console anyway, especially a PS5? There are no games. There are no games. God damn it, I did a count. I've got between currently have and things I'm going to get before the year is over. And remember, take this with the pin note that I am a selective gamer. I really only buy RPGs and strategy games. I rarely buy a platformer or an action game because I don't get a high amount of replay value generally for what the price point is. Okay. Lately, I've bought a few that I've normally wouldn't have because of streaming purposes because I'm trying to grow my gaming channel and grow this channel when I was doing that. I have a lot of games. I've got easily between 15 and 20 PS5 games. A couple of them have PS5 versions because they were released when the PS4 was still active, but I still count that as having a PS5 game because they offered me a PS5 version. So I bought PS5 version. I don't want to be told there are no games when I literally have games that I play that are for the PS5. Now, some people say, oh, it's the exclusivity argument, Adam. I've never bought into the exclusivity argument. Have you guys ever really, Nintendo aside, because Nintendo is the exclusivity console. That's what they are. It's what they've always have been for 40 freaking years. Nintendo aside, we're talking Xbox and we're talking Microsoft and we're talking Sony. Does the exclusivity thing ever move the needle for you guys? I know I'm an outlier when I say it never moves the needle for me. But does that move the needle for you when choosing to purchase?
As far as like buying a system is concerned?
Yeah.
No, that's never moved the needle for me. I converted from Sony to Microsoft not because of the game's exclusivity or anything like that. For me, it was what am I going to do for all, as far as my all-in-one experience was going to be. Because like you, Adam, I've been using my gaming systems as my DVD player and whatever else, consoles, some of them streaming from my flash drive, all types of stuff. So what moved the needle for me was, what am I going to be using this for? And it was never like, oh, you better buy a PlayStation because you can play God of War. I'm like, nah. And like you, it's about what I'm going to play on this system. When I remember when I first moved to playing Xbox, I was into playing Star Wars games, and Xbox had all of them, all the Star Wars games. And at the time, I couldn't afford to buy a new PC, so I'm like, hey, I'm going to buy Xbox and play all the Star Wars games. But at the same time, I also had plans to watch a bunch of DVDs on repeat and didn't want my disc to be scratched. And at the time, the PS2 and PS3 had issues, as you mentioned, Adam. If you have it sideways and this my allotted space, I couldn't have it. Yeah, it was a weird time, different time. but a lot of factors went into it outside of game exclusives. So I know that some people still hold on to that additive of, oh, you can't play whatever, fill in the blank. It's only going to be on PS5. Or like Spider-Man. Like, oh, it's only Spider-Man going to play on PS5 or whatever. Whatever. I don't care because it's not going to be a game that moves the needle for me. Period.
I once bought a console for an exclusive title. I bought a Saturn, or had it gifted. It was a Christmas present. No, I
come on. We're not going back that far, are we? Are we doing that?
Well, no, I did it for that. I did it because you guys know I'm a big fan of the Lunar series from Sega. That was an exclusive Sega franchise on the Sega CD. And then when they went to the Saturn, that's where the remakes were going. But then the Saturn tanked.
Oh, yes, it did.
And they weren't going to release it. And then guess what? Oh, we'll release it on PS1, which I already had. And then by then I had a PS2, which was backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So after that, in terms of buying something new, fresh on the market, I said that I'm not buying a console just for one thing. Now, when I was in college, did I buy an Xbox to play KOTOR? You're damn right I did, but I bought it used for $20. So that's not a lot of skin off my back. It was very easy to buy an Xbox, an old OG Xbox for that. So, that was Dragon Force was a bonus on my Saturn. That was a bonus. That was the bonus. Dragon Force was awesome. But then they stopped making them before they released Dragon Force 2. And I never got to play Dragon Force 2, which pissed me off. I hate that. I wanted to play Dragon Force 2. So for me, there was limited. Now, a slight amendment to what I say, I buy the consoles like Dre said for multi-uses, but I always looked what had the better RPGs, not just exclusively, but most, because a lot of them were cross-platform back in the day.
Yeah,
you get them on everything. Yeah. But which one had just maybe a few more? And yes, was it Sony at that point? Yes. Was that one of the reasons I abandoned Nintendo? Yes, because the only RPGs Nintendo was pushing was Zelda, and that wasn't enough for me. So I didn't go N64 and beyond. Did I buy used consoles later on to try and play some stuff? Sure. But I bought them used, which, once more, paying $20-$30 for a used console when they were cheap. Now everything's freaking through the roof because retro gaming is in. That wasn't a big deal. To spend $30 on a used GameCube was not a big deal. Not at all. And
agree, Adam, just to pause you for a hot second. I agree. I agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah.
But I think that era was a little bit more defined by what your experience. What did you want to experience more than? I mean, that was the legitimate console wars back then for Sega and Nintendo.
Sega, Nintendo, and then Pete and Sony came in and said, "F you, I'm ending this shit."
Yeah, exactly. So like I agree with you 110%. I think. Man, went back to Saturn. That takes me back. Sega CD. Oh my god!
I still have it. I have my V2 Sega CD in the closet, still attached to my original.
Yeah, I still got mine too.
Gen 1 Genesis, my first one that I bought for $200 when my own little kid earned money.
Yep, I still got mine in the box. It says Dre's retirement on it. That's exactly what it's. It's all my games, all the games that's sitting there. Some of them still in their boxes. Very few of them in there. Still got Echo the Dolphin in the box.
Oh man,
still got that joint in the box.
Like, what the hell are you people talking about?
I'm so lost.
You old men. What are you talking about?
But to your point, I agree with you. But I think it's different with modern gaming now, because back then, like you said, and you hit the nail on the head, there was cross-platform. There was a Mortal Kombat for Super Nintendo, and there was a Mortal Kombat for Sega.
And the Sega one had blood, where the Super Nintendo one didn't.
Exactly. So like the only thing that were like exclusives were like Mario and Zelda, Kirby, whatever, and then Sega had Sonic, and that's about it. Rocket Knights, I guess. But outside of that, I think it's different now than when it was then. Because back then it was a little different, and that's just in my opinion. I think it's different now.
You're not wrong. And also back then, you could afford at the time to have all the consoles.
Agreed.
I had everything. I always say we were there. I was there for the original console war, but I was kind of neutral territory because I had everything. So I was living a rich life of gaming.
Yes, you were.
It all.
I had a Sega. I lived in a Sega household, and my neighbor upstairs, he had all the Nintendos. So I would go to his house. Go and play Nintendo games. He'd go to my house.
I had everything I wanted out of all of it. And I found what I wanted and played what I wanted. So I didn't even think about it. But now you can't own multiple consoles.
No.
It's too expensive. Especially with, let's just take it back a couple generations, when they keep breaking. Like the Xbox 360.
Oh, don't remind me.
When the red ring of death keeps happening. Now, my PS3 that I got in 2009, 2010, right? That end of 2009, it still works. It's a beast. It makes a whole hell of a lot of noise when that fan gets going, but she still works. I'm on my third, technically, PS4, because my original one had a broken disc scanner. At some point it broke, which after years and years of use, mind you, it broke. So and when I took it in, they said, we can't fix this. So I had to get a new one. I got it on Black Friday, so it was fine. But then that one, remember last year when the hard drive ate itself out of nowhere, which I'd never had happen before. But, $20, new hard drive, fixed, salvage most of my important save data. That was fine. But it's still function works. The PS5, where I think we're almost 2 years into me owning my PS5, I have no problems on, because our good friend, grumpy old vaping gamer, former member of the roundtable, told me never leave it on rest mode. Never. And that, honestly, I think that's what killed my PS4 hard drive. I used to do that thing on rest mode all the time, on sleep mode. I think that's what killed it. I don't leave my computer on sleep mode anymore. I leave nothing on sleep mode.
Yeah,
I either leave it
on.
on.
Is a lie.
I either leave it on, or frankly, I think, Jed, remember when the old girl ate herself when we were doing Willow? I think that's what did it, because I left it on sleep mode all the time.
I think it was the cancer Willow that did it.
Well, it died before I got to Willow. So.
Oh, it was perfunctory.
It heard it coming. It smelled it in the air, maybe. But
smelled it.
Since then, I don't leave anything on sleep mode, either on or off. So the PS5 is working perfectly fine. because like Grump said, because Grump took it, his first one died because he left it on sleep mode, and then he took it apart and he looked at it and he showed it to us and he said, don't leave it on sleep mode. So I don't leave it on sleep mode, and she works just fine. So, but you still can't afford it. And also, it's hard to really want an Xbox when you have no idea what version you're getting in the current generation. What name is it called? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
Series X trillion bajillion.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Xbox isn't, it's not going to last one more generation because Microsoft is perfectly happy. And this takes me to my next part of the discussion. Xbox is perfectly happy, Microsoft perfectly happy to transition away from the console and have everything be on your computer because Microsoft is a software company. That's what they really are. That's what floats Xbox. Is Microsoft makes all the money, not Xbox. It's Microsoft makes all the money. They're perfectly happy to transition to you being on Steam, and that's where I want to go with this right now.
Well, could I
go ahead? Oh, sorry.
Go in on the exclusivity.
Sorry,
discussion?
Jet. I'm sorry. You were calling us old men, and I forgot you might have a thought on it. Go ahead.
So exclusivity I think is a poor business decision. It is an experiment that has failed to the point that even PlayStation is putting its exclusive titles, or at least past exclusive titles, on Steam. And I think that is the correct way to go, is cross-platform on anything you can get your hands on. Whatever you can get your game on, do that, because that'll make you more money in the long run.
Yeah.
That is the correct decision. I have bought a console for exclusivity purposes, though. And that was the PlayStation 4, and it was a bunch of them. It wasn't just one. I wanted God of War 2018. I wanted Spider-Man. Like there were several.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I've ever done it, and that's partially because I'm relatively new to gaming. I don't know if I've given you guys the exact numbers before, but I bought my first game in 2018 when I got the Witcher trilogy on sale on Steam. So in 2018. A lot of this discussion was already in the past. There wasn't much exclusivity besides Sony. Sony was the last one in the game really doing exclusivity because most everything on Xbox was already on Steam at that point. On PC. And I think that is the correct way to go. Just some people, like you said, these days people can't afford to do multiple consoles. So you're actually preventing yourself from making any money if you're doing exclusive titles. If someone's bought a PC, they can't afford a PlayStation, so they can't get your exclusive title. So you'll at least get a little bit of money if you make it cross-platform.
And you make an interesting point. I mean, and that's kind of your point actually transitions to where I want to go next. Talking about Steam and cross-platform and everything being on there. We are at a point where, as Dermy made a very good point, and that pains me to say, on Friday, if you wait long enough, something's going to be on PC. Next week, Dermy's going to finally stop hurting himself and making himself feel bad about not being good in Elden Ring. And he's going to go over to play Final Fantasy 16. I played it a year ago because I bought it at launch for my PS5 because I'm a huge Final Fantasy guy. I love the entire IP. But I bought it right before I got sick last year. So there was a big window between me playing it and going back. If you are a member, because all my gaming for this channel has been moved to the membership section, because I got to give you guys something to worth being here for. My Final Fantasy 16 stuff is there, but there's only 2 sessions because I literally got sick that week that I started playing it. I got knocked out, not by the COVID, but by the pneumonia I got from being sick from COVID. And I didn't get back to it till like a month later when it was over and nobody was caring about it anymore. So I just played it privately. And then it turned out to not be really good streaming game anyway, at least for me. But Dermy loves FF as much as I do. And he has been rabid to play 16 for a year. But he held off buying a PS5 because, in his words, it's coming out on PC. I was going to play it on PC. And next week he's going to. And that's fine. But I personally wouldn't have wanted to wait a year, and he's gonna have to wait another 2 years to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which he is anxious to play, and I can't talk to him about it because I'd spoil everything, and I'm not a spoiler. But here we are. One of the other arguments I've been hearing about this whole situation from the people from the agitative PC gamers who want to mock us for having consoles, those of us who want consoles, they want to say, everything's going digital anyway. They don't with the PS5 Pro. This is the argument with the PS5 Pro. It's them just forcing you to play it on digital. All you motherfuckers play your Steam games digitally because the PC market bent the fucking knee a decade ago and stopped making physical copies.
Oh, yeah. That ship sailed a long time ago.
So when somebody pulls out the argument saying, don't buy the Sony PS5 Pro because it's just them forcing you to play digital, you play digital. It's all you do is play digital. I don't understand that line of attack. Can somebody explain that line of attack to me? It's hypocritical.
That's the answer. They're stupid. They're trying to use a gotcha because they're trying to push. They're still trying same old argument that PC gaming is superior, but they're just using anything that they can just grasp their hands around. And the idea that, oh, look, they're forcing people to do digital things, which definitely I don't co-sign on. But at the same time, you're absolutely correct. There hasn't been a disc produced for PC gaming in how long?
Last one I got was the first Witcher game. That's the last one I got, the first Witcher game.
A lot of computers don't come with disk drives anymore.
No.
Yeah. Which is insane. Like I bought a laptop maybe two. Oh my God, it's been like 2 years, and it was a gaming laptop, and I was like, hey, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna pop in I'll pop in Star Wars Empire at War and install it. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Like that saddens me. But yeah, so like everybody's playing PC right now is literally nothing but digital. So I don't know what the argument.
Now, I am with the idea that I am sad that there's only digital. Now, does it make it easier to get these games? Sure. But then, once again, Derby made a good point. To be fair and balanced in this discussion, they promised everything would be cheaper when it went to digital.
They did say that.
They promised
no physical material.
And I guess for a while it might have been, I'm told, because I didn't start doing Steam till 2019. I didn't start doing Steam till 2019 because I didn't need to until then to get certain things. But now, I'm sorry, they're dropping these $70 games on Steam, these $60 games on Steam. Where's my? I'm just gonna wait till you have it on sale.
And that's it. And that's all you. And see that. And that's the problem. My problem is this: if you're gonna give me a legitimate alternative, make it worth my while. Yeah. If you're gonna say, and I remember those arguments like, oh, it's gonna be cheaper, like less emissions, save the environment, like all that stuff was going down, and I had to pay for a disc. And that junk was $50-$60. Now I'm getting no disc, and I couldn't
trade it in either. Yeah, once you bought a PC game, you couldn't trade it in. I had to fight them when I bought this game called X3, which I thought was going to be a great fighter simulator space game, and it turned out to be total garbage. I went back to GameStop. I had to bully them into taking it back, and I got my money back. I bullied the F out of them for that shit. But you couldn't trade in a PC game. Once you bought it, you were stuck with it for life. So what you have here is everything digital. And listen, the console's got their digital version too. But you know what? I'll buy a digital version also on console when it's on sale. Or if it's a moment of true inconvenience. I am still on the fence. I haven't decided. When Veilguard drops in October, that's a Thursday. Thursdays are a complicated day for me to get out to go buy a physical copy. I'd have to wait till Friday. And I kind of want to be on top of it day of. So, and also I have limited options. One, I no longer will buy games at Walmart out of principle because they tried to screw me over when I wanted what's it called? Even the bussy thing. Crap, what's her name? Stellar Blade. When I wanted to buy Stellar Blade, went in there. We don't have any copies, but this is the release date. We don't have it. You have to special order it. That's it. I'm not buying games anymore from you. I don't care. I'm done giving Walmart my money. I won't go to Target because fuck Target. I ended up going to. I will go occasionally to Best Buy, but Best Buy is phasing that shit out because they're retarded. And then
everyone is. Sony is not manufacturing Blu-rays anymore. Yeah. Like everyone's going away from physical media, and I think that's a terrible decision.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm going to go this show. But Dre has to go.
Yeah, I've got to bounce something that's come up that needs my attention. Unfortunately, real life calls.
Real life always takes priority.
Real life calls. Anyway, it's great to be with all you great folks, and it's good to be with the chat and everybody. So this week, tomorrow, I have a great interview on the Brutal Playing Comics YouTube channel with a new indie comic creator that's getting their career started. So definitely check that out at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Brew Playing Comics YouTube channel. And of course, as always, this Thursday, I will be dropping another epic Pokemon battle on my gaming channel, The Brute Plays. Definitely check that out. We're having a whole lot of fun over there now. I'm actually getting more people to actually want to join and play, so I'm having a good time.
Isn't it fun when you get the people that want to play with you?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Some people are upset with me, but that's okay. I'm having a good time. A good time. And so all that great stuff. And follow me on Twitter, X at TheBrood00. You all been fan freaking tastic. See you, fam. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, Dre. See you next week. All right. So fortunately, we got through most of this. So Dre shared most of his points. We're at the end of this conversation. We're going to move on. And Dre doesn't give a shit about Rings of Power, so he was going to take a breather anyway for that one. But to my point, what was my point? I forgot my point. Jed, what was
You're on about console and PC.
Physical media going to Best Buy.
There you go. Yeah. So Best Buy is phasing that shit out anyway. I will. And listen, I don't like going there, and I hate going to GameStop. I want GameStop to go belly freaking up. I despise GameStop. I got Stellar Blade at GameStop because they were my last freaking option. They had a couple copies left, so I went and got fucking bug. Die already. So I don't like my options for going to buy the physical media where I am, but it also, I mean, I would go to Best Buy to get Veilguard if I was going to get it, when I'm going to get it. Problem is Thursday, I don't have access to my car. I wouldn't have access to my car until like 8:30, 9 o'clock that night, and that store's closed. It's just that simple. I might get it on digital. I might, just because I don't have the time and I want to get on it. And people are literally relying on me. As few viewers are right now, you're relying on me to show you what the game looks like right now when we get into it. Is it as bad as we fear? Is there a saving grace? Is there hope to go forward? Digital is going to be way of life. But Jed, you mentioned it, and right here, Swag Bag brings us up. We have all our physical stuff and no drive player. That is why I have kept all my old Sony consoles, because for the PS3 up, they're all a Blu-ray player. And I, as you can see, I believe in physical media. I love my physical media. I will keep buying it as long as I can. I would never do that. I would never break. I will never break a disc. Even if it sucks. I mean, I haven't broken Spider-Man 2. It's right there. As much as I despise that game in the end for the story, not the gameplay. 10 out of 10 gameplay, 4 out of 10 story.
I still refuse to play it. I'm just gonna go replay 2018.
You watched Beardo play it, I bet. So you got
some of it, yeah.
Yeah, you got.
I know all the bad stuff in it, so I'm just gonna bask in 2018. There's no Miles Morales.
2018 was that game was a 9.5 out of 10, man. That game was a
beautiful game.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the new model. I specifically don't let it upgrade.
I have my old one. I have because I have my physical copy. It still is the original version before they made it look like Tom Holland. Because because the physical version, it doesn't update to that. It remains normal. So I still have that. And yeah, 2018 is fantastic. If you want to watch my full playthrough, for my final trophy, for my platinum, to get my platinum trophy to play on superior difficulty mode for Spider-Man 2018 on the PS4, it's in my member section. It's all there. Legatus was there. He watched me play it. Backpacks. Search for the backpacks. So you can check that out. The whole thing. We had a glorious time. That game is fantastic. And the thing about Spider-Man 2, the gameplay was exactly the same. 10 out of 10. Fun to play. Story was garbage. Complete garbage. But I remember Funko Land. GameStop used to be Funko Land, Babbage's, and Software, etc. until they merged to make GameStop. GameStop monopolized the basic video game store. There used to be 4 or 5 of them back in the day. Now they don't exist anymore because of GameStop. I thought monopolies were illegal.
The closest thing I think, the closest thing I think we've got over here for something like that is Entertainment Exchange, which does secondhand consoles and games, DVDs, Blu-rays, you name it, it'll be there.
Yeah,
I think that's our version, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, he didn't hear it because by the time Jed is gaming, Software, etc., Babbage's, Funko Land, these were 90s stores. These were stores in the 90s into the early 2000s. And then GameStop They merged. They literally became a single company. It's not like they went out of business.
We had
They
GameStop
became one.
we had GameStop as well, and that sold quite a lot of secondhand stuff. And then
that's the lie of GameStop. They get they'll give you pennies for your trade-in, and then sell it at only $3 off full price. So that's one of the reasons I say up yours GameStop, and I will not support you. I hate that. Freaking hate that. You're better off buying it used on freaking Amazon and taking your chances there. Anyway, the move to digital. Some people say it's inevitable. Complete move to digital. And they're saying the PS5 Pro and everything connected to that is the push towards it. Something inside me says, despite all of Sony's retardation and all their stupid moves, something inside me tells me they are not so stupid to forget that if with the PS6, we're talking about the PS6, not the PS5 Pro, the PS6, which hopefully will not be $1,000. If it is, that's the end. That is the end. If they charge $1,000 for a console, it's then it's done. It's done. Everybody's gonna freaking buy Super Switch.
I think you're lowballing it. It might be $1,200.
Stop it! Stop it! Don't hurt me like that. I am not paying. I didn't want to pay $500. I mean, here's the thing. Every time I bought a console since the PS2, I'm always late to the party. I wait like a good 2 or 3 years when they do the first discount. When I got my PS3, it was under $300 on Black Friday.
That's what I'm doing with the PS5. I got the PS4 about a year before the PS5 came out, and I'm happy with it. I'm sticking with it. A lot of the games that I wanted are still coming out on it.
I bought the PS4 3 years after it came out, and I had saved for a year to get it.
That was me with the Switch a couple of years ago, because I got my Switch about 2 years ago now, and by the time I finally got the Switch, oh, by the way, we're going to announce the Switch 2.
Literally, you bought it at the end of its life, just like I bought it at the end of its life.
It's with every console I've ever had so far. It's like, I finally saved up for this console. Oh,
but realistically, you just bought it literally at the end of its life, which everybody
it's going to last
time
forever,
without fail.
And the Switch 2, which I am a proponent of calling it Super Switch for nostalgia purposes, like Super Nintendo. I think that would be brilliant marketing if they did that. It might be backwards compatible too.
All right.
I think everything should be backwards compatible.
And there is the thing. That's an argument I forgot to make. It was in my head, but we were jumping around. It's so stupid not to make the PS5 what's a good word? I guess ultimate backwards compatible.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
If your discs can fit, make them work. Like, I get Nintendo had this weird arc with cartridges to mini discs for the GameCube to
the problem was
the trunk.
in the 90s, Nintendo could not abandon the cartridge. Everybody was moving to discs. They would not abandon it, and that's why the N64 was that.
Oh, I love the N64 cartridges, but then they went to the GameCube mini discs, and then they went to normal discs, and then they went to cartridges again, but
they were drunk.
I'm so afraid I'm going to lose a Switch cartridge.
I know they're so tiny, but like
so tiny, and that in that box. Why such a large box with a tiny little thing in there too? Point is,
not even books anymore. Games don't come with little guidebooks.
Oh, no manuals, no manuals. But backwards compatibility would revolutionize. If they said your PS5 Pro is backwards compatible, then it's worth $700. Then it's like, wow,
that is a great new feature.
Suddenly, boom, that's a thing.
As I said earlier, that was what put me off from getting a PS3 when they were coming out. When everyone knew that wasn't backwards compatible, we all got put off it, because I can remember when the PS2 came out, we all got it just so we could play our PS1 games on it.
Oh, I was still buying PS1 games when I had my PS2 because the PS1 was still making games. But the PS2 games, the library was still expanding at that time. But so with the PS2, one of the biggest sell points, aside from being a DVD player, was the fact that, your entire PS1 library is still valid.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it just puts people off getting new consoles because they love these games, and it's almost like saying you can't ever play them again.
Imagine I wouldn't have had to go through the past month of gnashing my teeth at struggling with Dragon Age on my PC if this was PS3 backwards compatible. I wouldn't have had a problem. No problem at all. Now, I might not have had my save data because it's all on the PS3, but small price to pay. I would have started from the beginning. I would have been, okay, fine. We'll start over.
Well, save data is transportable from the PS4 to the PS5. Just make it a feature to do it for the others too. Make your save data.
It was transferable, but well, actually, you know what? I could have transferred my PS3 data because I have a flash drive, and the PS drive has USB ports, and the PS3 had a USB port. I think the PS2 even had a USB port. It did. PS2 up have all had USB ports. Thing is, though, which is your point about the transfer, it's actually faster to transfer your data to a flash drive and plug it into the PS4 to the PS5. Because I tried to do the
digital one.
Is that we'll see you in 18 hours? And I said, oh hell no. I said, oh hell no.
I can remember when I got my Wii U and I was transferring my data from the Wii onto the Wii U, and we were trying to figure out how to do it. We spent the entire evening trying to figure out, and eventually we did find out, and it took 5 minutes to find out. And we were like, oh, that's all you need to do. So we had it on, and all it just was all these little Pikmin from the Pikmin games carrying icons of the games you had in the Wii onto the Wii. It was actually quite adorable.
But the concept of backwards compatible should be baked in. But Sony stupidly and retardedly abandoned it with the PS3.
It's a terrible business decision to make things so much more difficult for your players. Give them as many features they want to customize their experience. The more options you give a player, the more that they're going to come back and buy your new stuff. It's good customer service to give people what they want and make logical decisions, but you keep cordoning off your own games, your own material, your own consoles to the point where people just aren't incentivized to buy anything new. And you're ultimately hurting your company. Sony's hurting because it's doing this stuff.
Yes, it is.
And not like massively, but it's still, they could be more successful.
Their reputation is tarnished for a lot of reasons. Sony's made a lot of mistakes. Now, this is fortunately PS4 backwards compatible. I might not have gotten this if it wasn't PS4 backwards compatible, because I have still a lot of PS4 games, and I was still playing games on the PS4 when I got this. So I had to transfer stuff over. So Sony needs to smarten up. And I got to believe somebody over there, as they're now probably in the beginning stages of the PS6 in some dark little room where nobody knows what's going on. We can't see it. Somebody's got to be taking notes. Don't get rid of a disk drive. Don't get rid of the disk drive. That might be a hard problem point for me with the PS6 if it's digital only. It might be a hard selling point. I want a disk drive. I do.
Yeah.
Backwards compatibility. Don't sell us one controller. Give us two controllers again. Include bells and whistles, and find a way to do it where it doesn't cost over $1,000 or even $1,000. I mean, it shouldn't cost $700. This should not be $700. But Jed brought up earlier, and I think you're right. Part of the equation is they've suffered a lot of hits. Like everybody suffered hits for stupid woke mistakes, as we're going to talk about in a minute with Ubisoft. But Sony needs to be held accountable. And to the actual pony boys, the Sony bros, the Sony dude bros, who are going to shell out for this, who apparently have. There are people who pre-ordered this already. They're down for it. Realize that those are not your true core audience.
I mean, as you were saying before with console and PC, this laptop I'm currently using is a low-res gaming laptop. I usually use it to play The Sims, and I prefer playing The Sims on here because I can mod the game, I can put in custom content. Can't do that on the console version. But it used to be back in the day that The Sims on console was the poorer version of what you got on the desktop. And I've got Sims 3, Sims Medieval, Sims 4 on here, and they're all pretty good on here compared to the console version. But if I'm playing something like an RPG, I'd rather be on a console, because then I'm not looking at, which button am I supposed to be pressing and all that stuff.
So to wrap this up, because we need to move on. We've spent way longer on this than I thought we would. No, it's fine. No, apologize. You're fine. You're getting your points in. I don't think personally that the push to digital only is going to go as far as a lot of doomsayers think. I think that physical media will make something of a comeback because there's more money in it in the end. There is more money in it, I believe. People want it. People desire it. People have a connection to owning something, putting their hands on it. I think people are sick of digital because I think, in a sense, people are sick of streaming. I think people are sick of streaming, which is a large part of the digital thing. And we're going to, after we get through the tail end of all the crap that's been flushed out with the DEI, the woke agenda, all that shit, we're at the tail end of it. When we get to this next wave of stuff people are making, I think it's going to usher in a fresh era of things. And it's going to remake the landscape, not entirely, but something similar to what we used to know and recognize. I just feel that way. I am not, I wouldn't say I'm a full-on optimist, but I am no way a pessimist, and I'm no way a doomsayer, and I'm no way a cynic about this stuff. I believe there is a path forward, and I think nature is correcting itself in a way. I just think it is. And there can't be everybody who's a retard in Sony or every corporation. And mind you, another thing that I think gets forgotten, all the corporations are assholes in doing this shit. They're all, there's no good guy anything. Even Nintendo does their own stupid shit. Everybody's a villain in this. And they're all taking advantage of us in some way, shape, or form. Which is why I don't say I'm a boy or a bro for anything. I go where my entertainment leads me, and I support it when it works, but I'm very willing to be critical as necessary. And that's how you win. You be critical. But no, I think whatever sales they will get from the Pro, Sony cannot ignore the backlash they got this week. I don't think they can ignore it. It's plain as day. This has not been received well, and you are pandering to the people who have not allowed you to continue to be successful over the decades. All right, I've got nothing else to say. Unless anybody else has anything to add, we're going to move on.
I do have to say one thing. It was difficult for me to allow you to finish that segment because you just started a sentence after a pause. You paused and said, I'm not going to say I'm a boy.
Thanks, Jed.
I let you finish it, though. I didn't interrupt. It was a good speech.
I'm trying not to use and or again. I'm speaking faster sometimes than my brain can keep up, and I'm trying not to use See, I did it. Use stupid transitional phrases that we all get locked into.
Is that a new one for you? I'm not going to say I'm a boy instead of All
right, so see, you got my. I'm saying when I do a regular video, I don't and my way through it. But we go on stream, I and my way through everything these days, and it's really getting annoying. I'm trying to fix it.
Man.
Trying to fix it.
Big of a deal.
It is a big deal. I'm a clear and coherent speaker. I'm not Dermy. All right.
But you're not a boy.
I hate you. Let's move on. Since we're still talking gaming, let's go to Ubisoft. All right. Since we didn't have any prompts on this whole time. Let's go to gaming. Let's go to Ubisoft. Where is it?
While you're pulling that up, we were talking about incentivizing higher packages for like the PS5 Pro and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think I would legitimately play for the higher package of Assassin's Creed Shadow if it came with one additional feature, and that would be the Black Samurai's N-word pass. Like the version of the game where he just says the N-word over and over again. I would pay a little bit extra for that. That's an ultimate edition I can see myself buying.
Alex Vang, I think I did make a video this week, or at least beginning of the week, maybe last week.
Yeah, I think you did. It sounds familiar.
I've weighed in on this for the point of that Theory's done nothing wrong. Theory is from somebody who has been critical of Theory in the past. I've been critical of how he's approached Disney, Star Wars, stuff like that. But that's the only way I've ever been critical of Theory. I've never said a bad word about his business ethic and his work ethic. Theory has worked hard to earn his place as a 3 million plus Star Wars channel. And he has built the thing, and he is somebody to be, what's a good word? Praised, to be copied, where Theory is positivity. He's positivity incarnate when it comes to this stuff. He never got in the mud like the rest of us, trashing shit until Acolyte was too much for him. As for the explained stuff with, the Damons, and remember, I got the block by Molly Damon before Dermy did. He is fine dumping that because the Damons made everything fair game by trying to destroy YouTube channels. I mean, we talked about this last week. Yeah, we talked about this last week here. They being Star Wars Explained, Molly Damon, regarding Ripley, or whatever the hell they're
Rewriting
called.
Ripley.
I keep saying regarding for something, like rewriting Ripley. Every single shill and stand that exists in Star Wars Twitter, they deserve everything they get now from an organized, hate, propaganda-fueled cancellation campaign against Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, and RK Appos, and they brought Theory into it. They threw Theory in there just as an add-on, not realizing that he has the goods and has been showing the goods on Star Wars Explained, Alex and Molly Damon. These people are scum. They're scum, and they're cowards, because this week Molly Damon has now privated her entire Twitter account, unless you are a friend. Now, unfortunately, I got the block before she did that. But they're all cowards. They're all going to away because their little world of Disney Star Wars as a whole and the special privileges they've gotten over the years, it's fallen apart. They're done. They're over. People don't care what they have to say. Their channel is tanking. And I will agree with everybody that has said they have a right to have their channel. I'm all for free speech, but you also have to be prepared to suffer the consequences when people don't like what you say or do. Right? When you guys yell at me for something, I'll take it. I'll take it. If you don't agree with it, I'll take it. But I'm not going to tell you, shut up for having a different opinion. I will argue with you if you have a disingenuous argument by saying my point is the same as this without telling me why, just to try and get one up on me. I will say that. But you're free to your opinion, and I'm not going to tell you not to have it. That's why I don't block anybody on YouTube. Well, we will block people who try to take the channel down with various phrases in the chat. They've been blocked. But I won't block you on YouTube if you come in my comments and start yelling at me. I don't block anybody on Twitter. I don't block anybody. You can't handle the internet. If you can't handle consequences for your statements, that's a problem. And Theory is fully in right to now help bring these people down for what they are and who they are, and just show what he has been dealing with them for years. And I say, all the people who hate on Theory's the most vanilla dude out there, man. He is not aggro or angry or angsty to anybody. He is a chill dude who just wants to talk Star Wars. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I may not agree with everything he says or he does or how he approached it, but he can run his channel however he wants. That's not my problem. And I'm never going to say no to a real Star Wars fan, because one thing I call the fake fans all the time, I say, you're fake fans, you're Disney stands, you're not passionate, you don't really love it, you're only here since 2012, and if you were there before it, you've bought in on Disney Star Wars in order to help push away real Star Wars. I'll call them fake fans all day. I will never call Theory a fake fan.
Yeah,
I will never call him a fake fan. With all my early criticisms of him, and my criticism was just this: I wish he had used his voice much earlier to point out the crimes of Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, he was in denial for a long time.
But here it is. Now he does it, and look what's happened. They've turned him into the devil, as though he's the ringleader in all this. He's the most toxic of us all. No.
It's bizarre.
It's bizarre. It really is. So that was my only ever criticism I had of Theory. That, and I did kind of raise an eyebrow when he cried at the end of Mando season 2. I was like, what? What is this? I didn't know who he was at the time. I was like, who is this dude crying? What's going on here? Why is he crying? Once I understood what Star Wars meant to him, as it got him through cancer and all that stuff, I was like, okay, all right, I have the backstory now. Now I get it. Mm-hmm. But I've never had a truly negative word to say about Theory.
Yeah. Well, I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him casually for a few days at the Geeks and Gamers Content House earlier this year, and he's exactly the same person in real life as he is on his channel. Just like you said, incredibly genuine, nice dude who just wants to talk about Star Wars. and he can get in the fierce debates. Like we had a 5-person battle royale about Revenge of the Sith, and it was glorious, and we all walked away friends and laughing about it, and it was just a great nerd discussion. So yeah, Star Wars Theory, I don't personally watch a lot of his content, mainly because I'm not big on Star Wars. I never really was, especially nowadays. I'm not much into current Star Wars, but I do believe he's an absolutely genuine dude and did nothing wrong.
No,
just making fun of these people for their own hypocrisy, and don't dish it out if you can't take it. So he's just giving them a taste of their own medicine. So as far as I'm aware, as far as I can tell, nothing wrong with what he did.
So I hope that gives you what you needed, Alex. But we're getting a little bit of Star Wars here. We are, but first we have to go to Ubisoft. We've been following this for a while. That Ubisoft is in trouble. Outlaws is a disaster. If you watched Mellow Mondays this week, me, Devil, and Samuel, I had been watching it live, so I knew where it was, and I saved it. We watched Mahler finish Outlaws, or I showed them specific parts of it, where that game is a freaking joke. It's broken, it's retarded, the storytelling is stupid, and the gameplay is just off the charts dumb. Mahler literally, in the final battle was a battle in space with broken game mechanics. They were fighting a Star Destroyer, and he literally parks the shoebox spaceship that K-Vess flies behind a turbo laser turret, which really doesn't even look right because that's not how they are on a Star Destroyer. He literally parked it right behind it so nothing could turn and shoot him, and just sat there shooting at the turrets while the game was going, look out! Oh my God! They're chasing us! And he's just sitting there doing nothing. The game is so retardedly programmed, it could not follow the actions of the game models. So dumb. So Outlaws is a disaster. It's not even going to get 5 million copies sold right now, it looks like. Shadows is on the horizon. They're going to lose money, and we're going to show you the stock in a second. But Ubisoft has had failures because they've bent the knee to wokeness, to the agenda.
How much money do you think that they'll lose between the two games? Because the reported budget for Outlaws was 200 million as well, correct?
Plus 100 million for marketing.
So 300 million. And then Outlaws, I'm guessing, is probably 200, 250 with marketing. It's probably smaller than Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? A break even of 750 million for the two of them?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know how many copies are going to sell for Shadows yet.
No, but that's a lot of money that they're going to be losing.
Yeah.
That's at least $500 million they're probably going to lose.
Oh, yeah. Easy. But you've got, when you get to Shadows, you've got Yasuke and all that garbage. And, okay, I just read the private chat. We're not going to talk about that. We're not talking about that. Thank God he's safe. I'm surprised the chat hasn't alerted us to it. Now my mind's on that. So they're not making money.
Oh God, no.
On any of this woke shit. Yasuke, all that shit. Yet here we go. Applications opening soon for Develop at Ubisoft Women and Non-Binary Mentorship Program. We have an exciting opportunity to create inclusive entertainment that is truly reflective of our diverse world. Yeah, that's racist.
Yeah, they're not learning their lesson. I mean, they had their layoffs, 3 months ago, was it?
I think so.
And now they're hiring people back specifically for a woke mentorship program.
I'm sorry, but I did a course in business studies 20 years ago in college. This would not have been allowed. And this would have been seen as discriminatory.
Yeah. We want to empower you to learn, grow, and become the very best developer you can be. And Star Wars Outlaw Developer invites potential applicants on the program's official website. Join us at Develop at Ubisoft and embark on a transformative journey toward a more diverse and inclusive future for the game industry. Further elaborating on the program's purpose in its programming brief, Ubisoft adds, with more people playing games than ever before, which is true, we have an exciting opportunity to create inclusive entertainment that is truly reflective of our diverse world. The industry continues to benefit from different backgrounds, fresh perspectives, and new ideas, all of which have tanked your company and many other companies in the past several years. That's your diverse representation destroying the gaming industry. Develop at Ubisoft supports this evolution by highlighting emerging talent, and when they thrive, so does the industry. Open to individuals 18 years or older who currently attend university and have graduated or after spring 2023 and have less than 2 years of professional experience. In their desired topic of study, the program offers applicants the potential to study on one of 2 specialized course tracks, game design or programming. For those who choose, blah, blah. That's details, but let's get to the actual stuff that is bullshit. Once being selected, now, should one meet the company's full eligibility criteria, they will then meet with Ubisoft mentor, go through the interview process. But they already saw it. They have to be non-binary and women. Non-binary and women.
Yeah, based on their own rules, those two can't coexist.
I know.
Because non-binary, by their definition, is a non-man or woman. So if you're a non-binary woman, that is an oxymoron even greater than non-binary is an oxymoron.
So this entire thing, they are facing the possible collapse of their company because here's their stock for the past week. That's failure. You want to see for the past month? Oh, okay. How about the past year? Year to date. 5 years. The peak. 2021. What is that? That
would have been Valhalla. Valhalla came out in November of 2020, so that was probably a peak from Valhalla. Because Valhalla is the highest selling Assassin's Creed game ever.
It's been downhill since.
And let's see, October 2022. Can you look at that?
October 2022. Let me go back. 5 years. Sorry, 5 years. October 2021. There we go. I had it. Okay, October 2022. Here we are.
That's a pretty good low, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's when a Mirage came out.
Oh,
and there's a big dip right before it comes out.
And here's the dip now. We're 2 months away. We're 2 months away from Shadows. They're facing the end of their company as an independent entity because here we go. Legal analysts assert that Ubisoft is breaking the law with this mentorship program. There's people looking at it.
Straight up discriminatory. This is affirmative action on steroids. This is exactly what they wanted forever now. They're just coming out and saying it. And these people don't have any experience whatsoever, and they're going to be artificially elevated within this company. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people in this membership program, if it's allowed to continue, are leading executives in the next 5-10 years. Maybe not executives, but like game directors and people of influence at these companies, just so that they can brag about non-binary women, as much as that doesn't make sense, being in charge of their games. It is purely for their marketing purpose. It is purely for social media points with these freaks. And it's ultimately just going to hurt their bottom line even more because Twitter stands saying, oh my God, yes, queen, doesn't translate into sales. In fact, it usually hurts sales because the people who actually spend money have a lot more opposite opinions to those yes, queen chicks on Twitter. So yeah, this is just going to cause them so many more issues. And it's affirmative action taken to its extreme. So we're really seeing the short term of that playing out right here.
I mean, how did that work out for Disney hiring all the identity politics people to make MCU movies and shows?
Extremely well. I mean, it's not like they've lost $1 billion in the box office each year since 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe not that much, but a lot.
Well, if you combine every...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Avenue, Lucasfilm, Pixar, MCU, Disney in-house, they've lost that $1 billion because they kept putting people who did not have merit in charge of these things just because of their skin color, their sexuality, or their gender. And everybody's realizing that you can't quite go after Disney, but Ubisoft, they're ripe for the picking.
Absolutely.
I mean, the EU is going to go after them, accusing Ubisoft, EA, Epic Games, going after everybody for doing this stuff of violating consumer protection laws. That's just including Ubisoft.
I'm shocked. EA. I mean, yeah, the EA is doing that, or the European
EU. Yeah, I mean, they're going after everybody because they predict financial analysts downgrade because they're vulnerable. That's why they're able to do this, because all these companies are vulnerable because of these bad DEI decisions they've been making. Financial analysts downgrade Ubisoft stock, citing Star Wars Outlaws. That was the catalyst, because we are now this is the second time they did it at the launch, and this is from Jed. This is 2 days ago. This was 2 days ago, the end of the week. That means they gave a downgrade of their stock for the launch of Outlaws, and a week later they downgraded again because it's going to be a financial disaster. What do you think's going to happen when we get to November with the Shadows?
It's going to have a lot more impact because, when people think Star Wars, they're not associating with Ubisoft. So there's not that connection being made with a lot of shareholders and whatnot, people who own these stocks. But when you get to Assassin's Creed, there's nothing at Ubisoft that is connected as closely to their brand as Assassin's Creed. So even though I think they'll lose more money with Outlaws, I think Shadows will have more of an effect on their stock because of how closely it's related to their brand. And it is just great to see them find out that bragging rights aren't worth the money, because that's all this is bragging rights.
And what happened with Skull and Bones? Ooh.
What game?
Skull and Bones, the pirate one that they basically copied assets from.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Black Flag. Oh, okay. Yeah. The game that they copied assets from Black Flag from to try and make a whole pirate game. And they delayed it for years and eventually just collapsed.
It was a disaster.
Total disaster because it was just broken.
Well, their 3 biggest games of this year will all lose them a godless amount of money. I don't know what other games they put out this year besides those.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Black Flag, Outlaws, and Shadows.
Well, Skull and Bones, yeah.
Skull and Bones. Yeah, sorry, Black Flag. Well, you know why I said that.
It's basically Black Flag, but go play Black Flag instead. Its graphics hold up better than most modern games.
Yeah. Just go load up a save point and go out to sea in Black Flag, and you can have what they were going to do. Load up a save point, go do that. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, I think they're at the end of the road. I think next year, if their stock drops below $1, someone's going to swoop in and start buying, and we're going to have a hostile takeover, and they're going to get absorbed. Like,
do you guys are the predictions on who would buy them?
It depends on who wants to risk actually waking up an antitrust lawsuit, I think.
That's what I think Ubisoft, at least from my outside perspective, has a better relationship with Sony than they do with Microsoft. So I would see Sony picking them up before Microsoft.
Sony could get away with it because Microsoft's done too many big absorptions over the past 4 years.
They barely got away with the last one, right?
Bethesda?
Yeah.
Yeah, they barely got. No, Activision. Sorry, they barely got away with Activision, and Activision is still a shithole. It's abysmal over there.
So
they can't make anything.
Probably going over to Sony, and that's not necessarily a good thing. That's not a good thing.
Yeah,
it would be kind of funny if Ubisoft was bought by Tesla and Elon Musk. It'd be funny.
Elon can't buy everything.
I know, but even if I don't care about these things, I think it would just whatever he buys, I find is entertaining. Even if I don't care if it gets better or not, I think it would just be funny to see them melt down.
I don't want developers to get absorbed by other companies. I want them to be independent companies.
They should be, yeah. But at this point,
make deals for distribution with the game companies like they used to.
Somebody's got to come in and clean house, though. So at least change out your CEO and go bananas firing people.
Yeah. Ubisoft, and it was you and Dre that made it clear first that they're not just going to go away. Someone will absorb it. So you guys get the credit for that one.
Yeah, there's just too much money in Assassin's Creed as a brand, even still, for someone else not to see value or prospects in it.
With Assassin's Creed, they have to scrap everything and go back to basics.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Infinity, if it ever does come out, will be a disaster of untold proportions.
People don't want live service. People don't want it.
I think Suicide Squad was a disaster for them. Infinity will be worse if it ever comes out. Far, because they've been making it for years. It's kind of like Concord, where it's going to be in development for 8 years and then just lose everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one cares about live service. I don't know how well the GTA live service is doing anymore. I know it's been bizarrely successful for the last 10 years, but has that dipped at all? Because the Red Dead Redemption 2 online stuff was a disaster.
It all depends also on with Rockstar and GTA. What are they going to do with 6? And they've already delayed 6 again now. I think I heard.
Oh, did they do it again? It doesn't surprise me.
I think they pushed it back a few more months right now, maybe to 2026. I'm not sure. So let them. Oh man, look at this. Ubisoft had the same CEO since 1988. I think it's time for new blood. I think it's time for new blood, man. There it is right there. Wow, I didn't know that.
It's longer than I've been alive.
I was alive. I didn't even know who they were.
Much longer.
Yves
What was Ubisoft
Guillemot
doing in the 80s?
I don't know. I never heard of Ubisoft until Assassin's Creed, honestly.
Yeah, I figured they were founded like 2004, 2005 was just the
same here. My memory of them was mainly the Pets games.
Or is that saying when he was born?
Oh, they were okay. So it's right here. They were behind Rayman, all the Tom Clancy games. Okay, that Rainbow Six games. That means they were behind the Rainbow Six games.
No, they were founded in '86. Yeah.
Yeah. So wow. Either way, man, it's time for new leadership. I think it's time for new leadership. Man, talk about having a stranglehold on your company. Damn.
You thought Bob Iger was around for a while.
Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. I mean, shit. This chick's been in charge. I think that's Yves. I think that's a woman. I don't know. Let me see.
Yves. That's a dude.
That's a dude. Okay, that's a dude. Yeah, this dude's been holding on to his company for almost as long as I've been alive. Holy shit. Talk about stranglehold, man. Wow. Well, you might be about to lose your company, dude. You might be about to lose your company, and I think it's going to happen next year. I think Shadows. I think it drops under $1 on its stock price, and that just makes it. That's going to bring in somebody who's just going to buy up shares and do a hostile takeover. I've watched enough business shows and movies to know that when your stock dips that low, somebody's going to come a calling. Especially in this day and age where everybody wants to put everything under a single tentpole company and control shit.
When it gets to that low, you don't always get a choice about it. Like he's had hostile takeover that isn't giving you a choice of whether or not to sell. So that could absolutely happen once it gets down below $1. Someone could swoop in and buy enough shares that it's theirs regardless. But I think it's what needs to happen at this point. I don't know if anything would be an improvement, but at this point, anything's probably going to be an improvement over what Ubisoft's currently been doing. So I want to see it happen just to either see it finally collapse or to see a little bit better come out of it, even if it's a little bit better, because I love Assassin's Creed. I want more great Assassin's Creed games from different points in history. We can do some wild African Assassin's Creed games. There could be some really incredible games out there, but they're just refusing. They're finally doing Japan and they're ruining it. So
yeah.
I'm all for them getting bought out at this point because they can't succeed on their own and they're going to fail and collapse on their own anyway. So it's probably going to get better.
Yeah.
Not certain, but probably.
We just have to hope. And that's part of my hope that we get to a point now where this stuff ends. And clearly, as far as Ubisoft goes, maybe getting absorbed would be the best thing. If this dude has been running this company for that long, it's time for him to go. If these are the decisions he's making, if he can go from making decisions that gave us great games like all the previous Assassin's Creed stuff, but now you're going with Mirage and Shadows and you're allowing it to happen, maybe it's time for him to go. Now, of course, the corporations are no better, but at least maybe there's a chance that somebody has a better grasp on where to take their franchises into gaming.
Someone wants to make money. That's all we got to do is find someone who wants to make money and doesn't want to make bragging points or bragging rights.
All right. So, holy shit. All right. So it's looking like it's a real deal, huh? Okay. Well, this is not the place to talk about that.
No.
But prayers. You said prayers and safety. Right. So, moving on, we'll cover one more topic and then we'll get out of here. Rings of Power is disaster. But since we're still talking gaming, have you seen this? We've talked about this. I know Mellow Mondays talked about it. The Kitty Shire game that's been coming out. Have you seen this clip from the trailer?
I have. I didn't listen to the audio or anything, but I have seen the clip. Rachel was looking forward to this game because, it's basically Animal Crossing in the Shire, and that's her perfect kind of game.
Yeah, but man, has it got the diversity in it.
We love hobbits, and
oh no! No! Oh, you are a hobbit.
with Tales of the Shire, we want to immerse you in their world.
We want to immerse you in diversity and inclusion, and we've made fun of this trailer on Mellow Mondays where they have the black hobbits and this and that, and they're all shapes and sizes, and that's who's making your game right there. This is who made this game. This They don't care.
That might be a little bit more concerning to me than the Black Hobbits, because this game isn't trying to be accurate or anything.
Yeah,
I think as long as there's not a whole lot of story, there are people who can still enjoy this. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the ultimate red flag. And if these are customizable characters, I have no problem with this. If they're just saying, "Hey, look at our customizable characters," because we love diversity, but then if you go into the game and you make your character, your little hobbit, look however you want, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No,
those
you're
are all
wrong.
player animations that we saw so far.
Yeah.
And so
Tales of the Shadow
implies that's your character. So if they give you the freedom to make a diverse hobbit, you can make a diverse hobbit. But if you want to make a traditional Tolkienian English-looking hobbit, you can do that. So I don't necessarily see this as much of a red flag as people say.
Yeah.
This lady, I do, but the actual gameplay, I don't see as quite.
We went over it on Mel Mondays a couple months ago. We made fun of it. It looks hokey, and it's clearly made for a certain type of gamer and kids. This is clearly also made for kids. So we didn't shit on it that heavily, but I see this and I just go, oh no, oh no. These are the people we're talking about who this is the kind of person that Ubisoft wants to hire. Do we trust them? I don't. Not when you look like this.
We want to immerse you in their world.
We just really want Tales of the Shire to feel like a warm hug.
A warm hug. Now, it's going to be everywhere. That's fine. Of course, I have no interest in this game at all.
No.
Honestly,
do we have to go? Do we have to go 500 potatoes to expand our little hobbit homes like we have to on Animal Crossing?
I don't
Probably
know.
stuff like that.
All I know is that I had to show this. We'll look at it again tomorrow night. I'll try and find the full trailer tomorrow night or something like that for Mellow Mondays. But this is the people who we worry about getting in charge of putting in charge of things. Like we talk about Indiana Jones, this and that. These people which worry about in charge of it. But the people in charge of Lord of the Rings right now are, in fact, terrible. And want to watch us break down the show? Go watch Mortal Country. That's what that's for. This is talk about the news surrounding this right now. Look at that. Viewership data shows Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, total watch time declined by over 51% in its third week. It's already at Acolyte territory. According to what Park Place has gathered, it says here 372 million minutes viewed.
Oh, that's definitely the 9th or 10th slot usually in the Nielsen.
Yep. You're right there with me, Jed. They are in trouble. And like we've been saying, those first 3 episodes, it'll probably put it either top of the bottom 5 or just in the right above.
With
bottom
3 episodes, it's going to look really good that first week.
But here's the actual,
which is why they do it.
Yeah, it'll come in at like maybe 700, 800, 900. Actually, here it says it was 764 million minutes viewed the first week. So that's going to drop it in around 3 or 4 for maybe on Nielsen's. Maybe Nielsen's have a different metric for gathering the numbers. But either way, if the 372, that's 8 or 9 on Nielsen's top 10 originals for streaming. That means if it dropped that much, for what we watched this week, episode 5, soap opera time, it might fall off for this week.
Yeah, I think it's going to fall off. But look at that next sentence there. It's basically giving you the overnight million minutes watch for the premiere day at 63 million overnight for 3 episodes. That's really bad.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
How many views is that? I mean, the conversion is ridiculous. It's impossible to take minutes watched into viewership, but that's not good. Overnight viewership for 3 episodes.
Yep. And according to this, Luminate, who is an early indicator of things where it was, says it was 37th for last week. Not this week, but the premiere. So, I'm sorry, the week after. Sorry, for 4. Sorry, for episode 4. For episode 4. So, I'm sorry, episode 4. I forgot. We're in episode 5 now. God damn, that was this week. So, so episode 4 will likely drop off. This is episode 4 right here. 372. It's going to come in 8 or 9. Oh, no, I was right when I said that. So, this week, episode 5 will likely drop off. It will likely drop off. And
but it got 40 million views. Amazon told us in 11 days for 4 episodes.
40 million views over many days for the world.
Did anyone like it though?
Oh, there are people who like it, like this person right here. I miss her so much. They miss Asian Elf.
Who said virtually nothing.
3 lines and was on camera for less than 2 minutes.
Got that Matt Smith looking jaw.
Has no story, no character, no background, nothing. Is purely there for diversity.
Yeah, she's Asian elf. That's why she's there.
That's it. But I miss her so much. Like, where are they? These are the people who are watching this. These are the people. That they're the ones that it is Acolyte all over again. They have the audience they want. And outside of us who are watching it for purpose, and of course, the way I watch it doesn't get counted. Doesn't get counted. They don't have an audience. And when this falls off, now it's going to get renewed. We talked about this earlier. It's going to get season 3. Will it get season 4 and 5? Even though this week they were quick to come out. Oh, we are committed to 5 seasons of the Rings of Power.
The fact that they have to come out and say that is an admission of worry. Yeah. Like, it's bad enough that they had to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the stands aren't saying it. They're saying, "Oh, I'm sure the haters are fuming over this announcement." No, that's an admission that something is wrong. That they have to come out and say, "Yeah, we're still doing 5 seasons," whether or not it's true.
Mm-hmm.
We're just laughing at it. No matter what the news is, we're gonna laugh at it.
I suffer each episode, and then I find some sort of cathartic release when I do the reviews. I did my review. At one point, I lost it a little bit in describing Disa doing her singing, going, and Disa went, "Arr!" and then maybe the Balrog went, "Arr!" and then she went, "Arr!" he went, "Arr!" I have to do something to make it funny for me and for my audience, because the show sure as hell ain't doing that. And not to mention, it literally is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Or the story, everything is broken. The characters behave in the most retarded decision-making purposes. There's no logical rhyme or reason, and it looks terrible too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you heard that people are heralding this week's episode as the best of the show? Yeah. I don't get it. Nothing happened. Yeah, we got a glimpse of the Rings of Men. Yeah.
Here's how much nothing happened. Last night on Mortar Country, we spent an hour and a half essentially on the first half of the show, which we really dug into. For the last 30 minutes, we went right through it because it was just culminating moments of stupid, and there was nothing to really talk about.
I straight up forgot someone died at the end of the show.
And they're making such a big deal out of his death. The stands, let me see if I still have it. Let me see if I have it. I showed it to Dermy last night on Saturday, and Dermy got it. He understood what I was showing him. The fan art. First of all, we have to remember the queer baiting fan art is all over the place.
It's really bad.
It's bad. Yes, I still have it. I also found a different piece of I put that in quotes, virtual quotes, fan art. Look at this. Are you ready? Are you ready for ultimate cringe? Not only of the moment, but of the presentation. Some people just should not paint or draw or anything.
What is that?
But Jed, that's him dying in Elendil's arms. And
is that what that's supposed to be?
Yes.
Ew.
Yeah, isn't that just horrible?
Ew.
My eyes are hurting.
It's looks like just somebody smeared shit, moved it around, and also they made Elendil ethnic for some reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they hate white people. But Alex brings it up in the chat. I've said it many times. The downfall of society can be traced back to the Tumblr losing prominence.
Yep. They all came out. They all wandered out, and we have to deal with them.
They were safely contained.
I know. They were happy in their degeneracy on their Tumblr. We didn't have to deal with it.
They let the Balrog out. We woke them up.
But here we are. It literally is an Acolyte territory. The problem is, it's not going to be canceled like the Acolyte because there's an actual contract for 3 seasons or more, 3 to 5 seasons. There's an actual contract. Disney didn't have a contract with Leslie Headland.
Luckily. They do for a lot of their shows. It tells you how much they were invested in it by how they didn't do that for this show.
So Rings of Power is not doing well. And so this is the week of the 11th the week of the 10th. Yeah, the week of the 10th. So when we get to the week of the 10th in about a month from Nielsen, we can expect, and we will be here. We will be here to bring it to you. We expect Rings of Power to have, like the Acolyte, at the exact same ratings the Acolyte we're getting, or minutes viewed, to fall off Nielsen Originals. And then the question is, with the final 3 episodes, will it climb back on? I don't know. We'll have to see. Next week,
see if the Siege of Eregion is enough to bring people back. Aren't you so excited for that?
The Siege and the sacking of Eregion done in 2 days.
In 2 days. Yeah, for completely different reasons. Like, Adar just hates Sauron. He heard he might be there.
Yeah.
That's the motivation for going to Eregion.
I mean, we're going to probably talk about this next week because it'll be the content of next week's episode. Adar is waging war against Sauron, not everybody else. He's not there to attack elves. He's there to attack Sauron. The elves are just getting in the way.
I guess. I mean, you could just go to the gate and say, hey, give me Sauron, or maybe he'll hurt by that point. Give me Anatar, and we won't attack Eregion.
Yeah, so none of this...
It's moronic.
It is moronic. It's stupid. It's dumb. And we're going to keep roasting it. Hell, I mean, right now, that's what's getting the views for me. Rings of Power talk. Well, and of course, I have to rip on it. It's required.
The question I have is, we see for the trailer that Anatar's going to have his crown. Sauron's going to have his crown again. Is Adar just carrying that around for no reason? Because assumedly, he's the one who still has it, because he used it to stab Sauron 1,000 years ago and make him venom.
Oh, I saw this too. Well, some people don't even understand that this version of Sauron doesn't have like a magic bag that holds everything. I saw somebody coping. Remember the scene where Pharazôn is going for the Palantir?
Mm-hmm.
Some stan had to say, this is such a masterful work of weaving the threads together. He's now going to be connected to Sauron. Excuse me, when does Sauron have ownership of Palantir in this show?
Probably going to just show up in Eregion. It's like, oh yeah, this has been here the whole time. Yeah. Or it's been up his butt the whole time.
Yeah. So
Sauron's supposed to be a badass, and from what I've been seeing and hearing he isn't.
I mean, he accidentals into everything. Everything that's attributed to him from season 1 is actually Adar. Sauron's done nothing. He's been Venom for the last 1,000 years.
Yeah.
He's done no evil. He's been in a cave.
When he eventually gets a Palantir, he's already a big flaming eyeball. And then the Palantir's like tossed into him. So now he has it there. He doesn't have a Palantir. He doesn't have anything. Yet suddenly he's going to have a crown. Next week's going to be stupid as hell. And I can't wait. Other than that, we've got a super chat from Jay Fraser 360 for £5. Hail Roundtable. 3 more seasons of Rings of Power. I don't know what the fuss is. I look forward to seeing reviewers make money and entertain me more than Amazon can. Well, I am here to please. We aim to give you all the enjoyment of our meltdowns, our jokes, the roasting, this and that. We are here. We are happy for your support. Thank you, Jay Fraser, for the £5. And everybody who watches our Mordor Country, watches my reviews, joins us. We're doing this, 1, because it's cathartic for us, but 2, we are doing it to entertain you. We are also doing it to entertain you. We're providing you with your ability to watch it, because the deal we make is we watch it so you don't have to. With that said, I'm going to skip the final thing. I will just say, just a quick little checkup. We're not going to stick to it, but we will just check up on the Acolyte and its petition. Now, this is just a screen. This is a screen cap of us from last week, just to show that I can remember to check it. This is where the petition was, 71,000 last week. Jed, have you happened to check this week? Do you know what it is?
I haven't. No, I don't know where it's at.
You want to wager a guess before I show you?
74.
74? No, it's actually higher than that. It's made it all the way up to 77. Wow. But today, only 263 people signed.
The best comparison for these petitions that I saw was the telling Disney to rehire Gina Carano one, which is still higher than this one. And these same stands were saying that's a pathetic amount. Disney's not going to listen to that petition. And this one isn't quite getting there yet either. But it's amazing. Disney, listen to us. We're the majority. But
keep going, everybody.
People did the other one, but they're the minority.
Keep going. We'll get there. Get where? You're going nowhere. And we're gonna keep tabs on it because it's fun. I enjoy pointing out how retarded and worthless they are. But that's it. Unless anybody else has anything to say, besides me coughing, let's get out of here and get on with our day. Jed, what's your week look like?
Well, you can all find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. Just being back on This Is Mordor Country this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on my channel. Besides that, just regularly scheduled live streams and videos.
Okay, Dragonly.
I've just been doing my usual simming at some point this week, so that'll be it, really.
Okay, as for me, I have a very busy week ahead of me. Tonight, we're going to do more Dragon Age Inquisition over on my gaming channel. So head on over there, subscribe to that one, guys, where all the gaming happens. Although we will be doing part 1 of Veilguard right here because I want to try and make my money back right away. Join me over there. We're having a good time already, having a lot of fun. Other than that, tomorrow, I'm busy tomorrow night. I'm recording it tomorrow night. It won't be released for a few days, but tomorrow night I will be recording Devil's Angels. We'll be watching with honors. So on Devil's channel, Beelzehub, you can find me in a week or so with the edited version of me and the Angels. I'm the Bosley this week. Where we'll be going over with honors Joe Pesci, Brendan Fraser, Moira Tierney. Good little movie. So I'll be watching that with them tomorrow afternoon into the evening. Or evening into late. And then right after that, we'll be done with it. It's Mellow Mondays, 10 p.m. Eastern. You guys know the drill. We're there to chill out, have a good time. Then Tuesday, I'm on Get Ranked. Get Ranked returns. We're ranking AI movies. I've seen about 20 of them, so I can still weigh in on most of them. So we'll be doing that. Wednesday, I pray to God it's on Wednesday and not Thursday. Due to my deal, the compromise deal I worked out for everybody with Dermy and Ballbusters, I will be reviewing the first 2 episodes of Agatha all along. I didn't want to, but Dermy wouldn't let it go. And there was a lot of how we will we, won't we on this. Everybody worked out a compromise. Everybody's watching the first 2 episodes for Ballbusters. I'm going to review it, but that's it. Unless you guys watch it, like it, comment on it, make it a thing, I ain't gonna do more because I freaking hate reviewing the MCU.
All right, chat, you've got to flood his review with all the comments, all the likes, rewatch it 100 times, put it on repeat in the background like the Acolyte people. Just make it the biggest video on his channel.
Here's the thing.
History.
Here's the thing. I'm okay watching shit. But I truly, this is not me faking. After She-Hulk, I despise reviewing MCU. I despise it because they don't take it seriously. They're not making it to actually make anything. They're making it just to throw it out there. It's dog shit. It's worthless. So if you guys really want me to suffer this, you're going to have to make it worth it. I'm being serious here. I do not want to do this. I don't. But I'm doing the first 2 episodes. If I have to watch it for Ballbusters, I might as well do a review for it. I just pray to God it actually releases Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and not Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Because goddamn, you want to see me lose my shit? That means I'd have to do that and Rings of Power episode 6 in the same day. No.
It'll be fine.
No, I won't be. So we've got Rings of Power, episode 6, Ballbusters, 11 p.m. on Dermy's channel. The Melees are back for their tri-monthly visit to the sinking ship, drinking in Oreos. That's what happens over there when they arrive. A lot of yelling and screaming, and no topics get covered. When the Melees are there, you can guarantee no topics are going to get covered. So we got that on Friday, and then we're back, Mordor Country, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The panel is all united in one and ready to roast it to hell. And then we'll be right back here, 2 p.m. Eastern next Sunday to give you our take on whatever the internet provides. I am sure something will happen. So thank you one and all for being here. Subscribe on my gaming channel. Subscribe to Jed, Dragon Lady, Dre. Subscribe to us. We are here because you guys support us, and we thank each and every one of you for it. So we will catch you guys next week. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.